Welcome to the Healthcare Unfiltered Express, where I conduct short video interviews packed with relevant and timely information that you cannot miss. So sit back and enjoy the show. Healthcare Unfiltered Express with the formidable Dr. Doc Flora. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me back, Shadi. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, well, this is an express type of thing, and the idea of doing this is to cover some of the happening meetings, happening data that just can't wait for the weekly podcast. So recently, you were at this AVBCC, whatever you guys call it. What in the world is this conference?
That's a cool one, man. It's a juggernaut. It's 350 speakers, 1,000 attendees, and most of them are at the most senior levels of not just the oncology community and all of the teams that lead those, but also leaders of industry and a lot of high-level government people sharing the tea.
So it's about association of value-based cancer care. What's the underpinning? What's the goal of the meeting?
I think it's driving smarter cancer care. As you are aware, as a clinician, the delivery of high quality care is less expensive for the payers, less expensive for pharma, less expensive for hospitals and for private practice doctors. And so this is the one group I see get together where they're all talking about the same goals, which is let's try and improve on the way that care is delivered, so that the patient wins because they're in the middle of it, but by doing it more intelligently, eliminating waste, finding efficiencies. You're having a hard conversation about things like PBMs that add very little value to the healthcare ecosystem, and then having the leaders of the world comment on that. Like Seema Verma was there, Scott Gottlieb presented, Mark Cuban. It's a really elite crowd.
Amazing. And this year's AVBCC meeting was in the Big Apple.
Yeah, Bert has had it there forever. He's a member of the New York Athletic Club. He also is a board member for a big charity called Swim Across America that's raised millions. And that's been his big passion. So it's always in this quaint, old, crowded, historical place where you feel like you're walking in the shoes of giants. But yeah, they won't let you in with gym shoes. They won't let you in with jeans. It's a very old-fashioned vibe, but it's something. When I first got invited a few years ago, I was thrilled because I'd always wanted to look behind the curtain.
Now, you're a big picture guy. You're one of the most innovative leaders in oncology today. What were your takeaway points? What did you come out from the meeting? What can you share with us for folks who are not fortunate enough to attend?
I think the general sense was hopeful. I think that everybody in attendance, and this was many, many panels I attended, I really do think that this value-based care has arrived. We've talked about it for 10 years. Each year it sounds like, maybe not this year, but everybody was pretty earnest about that. There was a lot more talk about technology and solutions using AI, using better tech to deliver cancer care more affordably and more intelligently. And that's why I was there, because that's kind of my hobby as an AI guy. But I guess I felt very hopeful to see the payers and pharma asking for the same things that we've been asking for as clinicians for some time. That's always encouraging to me.
What were they asking for?
I think it was, can we work together to try and figure out the next generation of cancer care? So I'll give you the example. So bispecific antibodies have arrived, but the majority of patients pass away without access to them. And so all of the parties involved, the clinicians want to be able to give the drug in the community. The payers would love to not be spending $400,000 per hospital stay. And the pharma companies would like to sell more drug. And so moving safely into the community practices to give these drugs in a very responsible and measured fashion was discussed in a number of panels. And I think there's actually some impetus to do so, which means patients get access to better drugs, and then everybody else on the other economic side wins. But for you and me, it's how do we get these drugs in the hands of the patients that need them?
I was looking at the agenda that took place this past week in New York, and there were some sessions on PBMs. What happened there? I wish I was a fly on the wall there.
Well, you didn't have to be. If you just Google Mark Cuban's comments, he didn't mince words, and I think that the industry has decided there's a relative villain right now, and it's the intermediaries that have been introduced into American medicine that don't exist in other places. And our European counterparts at ESMO were stunned that we can't tell the difference between a list price and a real price in healthcare, or that we have all of these levels on these verticals of these gigantic, Fortune 10 companies that really just adds gum and muck to the works and mucks up the system. So when Mark was talking about that, he speaks pretty clearly about his feelings, and a lot of us were laughing in the room and he was sharing this, but a lot of us feel the same way. Is let's get rid of the duplicative layers that just add costs. If you're not going to negotiate for rebates and better costs for the patients, don't act like you do.
I have to say, Doug, there have been so many talks about PBMs for years. You and I have done oncology for a bit longer than we'd like to admit, but they're still here. Do you get a sense that this is changing? Do you get a sense that maybe instead of us continuing to outline the problems, we are moving to execution mode?
I sure hope so. And I guess I'll say that as a person who is, I'm a scientist. I'm a practicing cancer doctor. I don't love the discord that's happening in DC right now. I think it's distracting from good research and good patient care. But I think sometimes when the house is on fire, you figure out what you want to save and what you don't. And right now, I think a lot of us are having pretty hard conversations in our buildings, in our meetings like AVBCC or at the ACCC meeting that happened the week before in Denver to say, if this thing is this broken, what are the first principles we need to go back to the things that we say we care about? Providing affordable, value-based care to the patients where they need them, when they need them. And if you start with those principles, a lot of these extraneous things that we argue about become a whole lot clearer because they're not adding real value. They're just adding layers and layers of people taking chunks of money and not getting drugs better to patients or faster to patients. So I don't know. I'm an optimist. I think this crazy 6 months that we've had and now the government shutdown and everything else, I hope that what comes out of it is that people are unified and reminded of the things that really, really matter, not the things that we're told matter.
What about AI? What do you guys talk about AI at AVBCC?
Again, very, very hopeful. I had a panel with my buddies, Sanjay Juneja and Lakan Ajayi, David Pemberley, and Deborah Pat, where we all got to be together. We run a company together trying to integrate these tools responsibly for people. And I think all five of us were very optimistic. I was sat on 4 panels, I think, 3 of which were AI. And across the country, I find community oncology practice leaders, hospital leaders, important people in important governmental positions are all leaning into this as a strategy that lets us fix a lot of the stuff and really drive the mundane away and allow the humane part of oncology to re-enter. And I just love that concept.
Did Sanjay dance a little bit?
Not enough. I mean, anytime you see Sanjay dancing, it's a treat. And next time we get together, we'll have to challenge you to a dance off with him. I will, of course, be on the camera.
Yes, and I would hope that you'll vote for me. Anything else, Doug? I mean, I know I just wanted to get a few minutes with you just because this is really an important meeting and I wish I was there. I plan on being there next year if invited. Can you invite me next year?
No, I mean, they're very selective, man. I
I
wish I
know.
could
I
help
know.
you, but it's
I'll
just
buy a
better
suit.
next
I'll
time.
buy a suit, man. I'll buy a suit. I know that jeans are not allowed. I'll buy a suit.
Yeah, it's cool because you put together all the players. We have a lot of conferences where it's doctors together, or we have a lot of conferences where it's, multidisciplinary teams. This is one where you're actually face to face with the people that run these gigantic insurance companies, sitting on a panel with the pharma leadership and kind of duking it out in a respectful way. And I feel like progress was made.
Well, thank you so much for giving us some insights into the annual 15th. I believe it's the 15th annual AVBCC meeting in New York. Thank you so much, Doug.
Good stuff. Take care, man.
Thank you for listening to this edition of the Healthcare Unfiltered Express. Until next time, take care.